time for the Splash Live from Civic Center TV, featuring stories from and about people like you in the greater West Bloomfield area. Simulcast on cable, 89.3 Lakes FM, social media, and the web. Now live from Green Media Center on Walnut Lake Road, it's the Splash Live.
Live, local, social. It's the Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. I'm your host, Jake Schaff, going over all of the biggest news and events from right here in greater West Bloomfield. With the holiday season just on the horizon here in greater West Bloomfield, families are getting into the holiday spirit and are taking any opportunity to spend some quality time with each other. Well, the great people at West Bloomfield Parks had just the event for the families over this past weekend with their annual High Tops and High Heels Mother-Son Dance event. A fun night out at Glen Oaks Country Club to dance the night away and to make countless holiday memories. I was at this year's event and got to speak with several local mothers on what this event means to them and their family.
This is our second year, and we have really enjoyed ourselves. It's fun, it's memorable, and it's just a good time out with my little guy.
And what do you see in your son when he's spending this time with you and he's getting to dance with you and just have a night with you all to himself?
I see the twinkle in his eyes, and I see that baby that I first held on February 8th of 2016, and I see him growing and blossoming, and he's just everything to me.
Oh, he remembers it every year. He brings it up. He is the one who asks me each year if we're going to come back. So it's just a special time that he and I spend together. All the moms, all the kids are just having such a good time. And you guys have so many cool things for all different kids, right? You have kids who like to dance and they're outgoing. You have kids who love balloon animals and art and the photo booth and everything. So my son's a little quieter, so he enjoys all the other activities that you guys have, and I think that's pretty unique.
I mean, I feel like, November, December is all about family. And when you think about family, I think about being with my children, being with my husband. And so with it being November, December, and Thanksgiving is next week, Christmas is next month, it just makes me feel really, really happy.
What does it mean to be strengthening your own family units by attending events like these?
It makes me realize that when I spend this quality time with my son, it is putting him out there into the world one day, understanding the importance of family. When we spend quality time like this, it makes him understand how important family truly is.
I think it's a great blessing to be able to do this and build community bonds. And we actually came with some friends that we invited, and it's just been great to spend time with them in a different setting, and we've had a ball.
It helps bring to essence the meaning of community, coming together, gathering together, doing things together, laughing together, and making memories together.
Last question. What do you have to say to the great people at West Bloomfield Parks who put on events like this every single year?
West Bloomfield Parks and Rec, thank you so much. Thank you for creating an opportunity for us to come together, be together, and make memories. It's wonderful. Thank you.
I should mention, and I'm a pretty young guy, I was surrounded by children the entire night, and I still have no idea what 6-7 means. And at this point, I don't think I ever will. But it's one of those events that puts a smile on my face every single year, and it's all possible thanks to West Bloomfield Parks. Let's hope everyone had an amazing night full of family memories. In case you missed it, the Orchard Lake St. Mary Eaglets are heading back to Ford Field. Over the weekend, the Eaglets dominated Portage Central with a score of 42-7, cementing their spot in the Division II football state finals. They will be having their matchup in the Lions' Den against the Dexter Dreadnoughts. And if they win that matchup, they will repeat as Division II state champs. The game is scheduled for Friday, November 28th at 7 p.m. at Ford Field. So you get to watch the Lions take on the Packers on Thursday night, and then you get to watch Orchard Lake take on Dexter the very next night, November 28th at 7 p.m. Best of luck to the Eaglets. Let's see them take him home. Celebrate the magic of the season at Christmas at the Point, a festive evening of dinner, drinks, and dancing set against the warm holiday glow of Bay Point Golf Club, which takes place on Wednesday, December 17th from 6 to 10 p.m. Whether you're gathering coworkers, reconnecting with friends, or simply looking for a memorable night out, this holiday celebration blends elegant decor, delicious food, lively entertainment, and plenty of cheer. It's the perfect way to unwind, indulge, and embrace the joy of the holidays in a beautiful and inviting setting. Once again, that event is taking place on Wednesday, December 17th from 6 to 10 p.m. The West Bloomfield Police Department is inviting applicants to join its cadet program, a hands-on entry-level opportunity for those pursuing a future in law enforcement. Cadets support the department through essential duties such as taking reports, assisting with prisoner processing, helping at the front desk, conducting breath tests and fingerprinting, and aiding officers with data entry and station tasks. The program offers valuable experience for individuals enrolled in or recently graduated from criminal justice programs. Interested candidates can apply online through West Bloomfield Township's job portal until this Wednesday, November 26th. And for more info, you can head over to wbtownship.org/jobs to learn more. Keego Harbor is getting ready for all of the winter celebrations to come with their annual Winter Wonderland event. Winter Wonderland Park is a seasonal community celebration hosted by Keego Harbor Parks and Rec at Rose Sorter Park. The event takes place on Friday, December 5th at 6 p.m., bringing families together to enjoy the annual lighting of the park. Joining us this morning on the Splash Live to talk about it is Kirsten Sonneville Douglas of Keego Harbor Parks and Rec. Kirsten, thank you so much for joining us today.
Good morning, Jake. Thanks for having me.
Of course, always love to talk about great stuff happening in Keego Harbor, and this is one of those events that I truly think everybody looks forward to every single year. Talk about the origins of the Winter Wonderland Park. How did it all get started?
Oh, it was revamped because of COVID. Prior to COVID, it was a big to-do in DPW. We had to move all, and this was actually before I was on the commission, all the police cars, all of the equipment had to be moved out of DPW. They did an amazing job of lighting up DPW. They had crafts, Santa came. It was a wonderful event. We had to revamp it because of COVID, right? We couldn't gather, and we're technically Parks and Rec. So I threw out an idea saying, what if we lit up the park? And I'm forever thankful for Leslie Clark because she took that idea and made it happen. She's out there measuring and researching different lights, and I'm so thankful for her. So every year it's gotten better. So since 2022, I believe, is the first one that we had. We keep adding to it, and it's just magical. If you have the chance to see it, it's wonderful.
It is a beautiful thing, and it's great to hear of all of the planning that goes into making this lighting ceremony just right for everybody. So you said this has been going on for a few years now. How would you say this event has grown or changed since the previous years, and what makes this year, 2025, so special?
It takes time for new events to kind of take hold. Since coming on the commission, one of my missions was to kind of make sure that our calendar was solid. I don't know if that's the right word, but that this is always our Winter Wonderland will kick off on the first Friday of December. So that way we're not sitting there going, is it this Friday? Is it the next Friday? It's always going to be the first Friday of December. And then just word of mouth. And the first time people, walking around or driving around, you can actually see it from Cass Lake at night when it's dark, right? People come by every night. When you're around, you'll see someone in the park. It's just wonderful bringing community, even not just for the event, but through the whole month of December.
That's right. It sets the tone for the month to come. I mean, the holiday season brings so much joy to everybody, and it's events like these that really help kick it off just right. Kirsten, what can families expect when they arrive at Rose Sorter Park for the lighting celebration?
Well, if they come just a few minutes before 6, it'll be dark. We will do a countdown to light the park up, and then we just celebrate with some music. We've got barrels where people can roast marshmallows. We'll have hot dogs, some hot chocolate. There is a fun Keego Land game so that people can take spinners and have tasks that when they're walking around the park or around the path. What else? Just being around community is so wonderful.
It absolutely is, and that sounds like so much fun for all the families that are going to be attending this event. Now, of course, with a lot of community events, there's also a greater purpose. You guys are going to be doing some great work at this event to support the Open Door Outreach Center. Can you describe how that partnership came to be and how the donations are going to be supporting local families?
Yeah, when we were continuing to revamp this or add to this event, we thought about the season of lights and the season of giving. And to help our community, one of our commissioners at the time, Jackie Van Dox, and I want to thank her for her work, partnered with Open Door Outreach Center. And so we do a food drive all the month of December, and people can bring their non-perishable food items to City Hall, but they can also bring it to the event, and we'll make sure that it gets to the center.
All great things being done in Keego Harbor. For those just joining us on the Splash Live, I'm talking with Kirsten Sonneville Douglas of the Keego Harbor Parks and Rec team about the annual Winter Wonderland Park event that's going to be coming up very, very soon on Friday, December 5th at 6 p.m. Now, Kirsten, we talked about this a little bit, but truly with events like these, you want to make sure that there's something for everybody here. How do you ensure that the event is accessible and welcoming for residents of all ages?
So there's activities for little ones. I mean, who doesn't like to make a s'more, right? So that's for everyone. But we make sure that these are free events so that there are no barriers when it comes to finances, and that we just want to make sure it's available for the community. It's only an hour long, so it's not a huge time commitment either, but it's fun. We've had adults going around playing the Candyland game and said it was just really fun to like hit one of the spots and then they had to sing a Christmas carol or something like that. So it's just really enjoyable for everybody.
It's only an hour long, but so much can happen in that time period to really make a difference. And how do you hope the event really strengthens community connections in Keego Harbor?
Just wanting to get our community out and about. Part of it also is the volunteerism. This weekend, our team was out there busy setting it up. We'll be out there again this next Saturday, next Sunday at noon. So if people are available to help out, we can always use another hand, but it really is about bringing our community together, whether it's serving our community or just actually bringing them together to hang out and build that community.
That's right. And we want as many community members to be helping out with this event as possible. And even if they're not able to, let's say they're not able to attend that event, something else is going on that night, how can community members participate beyond attending? For example, maybe contributing to the food drive?
So the food drive is all this whole month. So they can bring their non-perishable food items to City Hall, but people can join just by, liking us on Facebook, being plugged in, knowing what's happening with us, because we have people who have little ones, and so they have activities that speak to them, like the egg hunt. But then we have adults, maybe some retirees that are like, I just want to hang out at a park and listen to some music and have some good food and hang out with some friends and check out some local artisans. And then the block party is for them. But it's something for everyone. We're trying to make sure that we do have that and we hit all those points.
Something for everybody with the Winter Wonderland event in Keego Harbor. But out of everything that takes place with this event, Kirsten, what do you hope families, the biggest thing, what do you hope families take away from the event as they head into the holiday season?
They have fun. That's my biggest one, is that they have a good time and that we think of others with that whole giving. So I'm hoping that just bringing a can of something to the City Hall or to the event will help another family in need.
You're right. All great things that can be done. Last question before we wrap things up, Kirsten. We have this event happening on December 5th. Can you give us maybe a little bit of insight of some other things that might be taking place with Keego Harbor throughout the rest of December and maybe even into the next year?
So that wraps up for December. Unless you want to come to a Parks and Rec meeting, we'd love to have you. But we do have our Taste of Keego, which is our restaurant week that will happen at the end of January, and that is January 26th. Starts 26th and goes for a week.
All right, lots to look forward to in Keego Harbor and lots of holiday fun on the horizon. Kirsten, thank you so much for joining us today here on the Splash Live.
Thanks, Jake.
Of course, once again, family fun is on the horizon on Friday, December 5th at 6 p.m. at Rose Sorter Park for the Keego Harbor Winter Wonderland event. It's going to be such a fun night to really help kick off the Christmas and holiday season in Greater West Bloomfield. Some big news and a big honor for a local West Bloomfield tennis coach. Chris Ludwig, tennis coach with West Bloomfield High School, has been named the Division I Michigan Tennis Coach of the Year, a well-deserved honor that reflects his exceptional dedication, leadership, and impact on the sport. I recently spoke with Coach Ludwig to hear his thoughts on this incredible achievement. Chris, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, big congratulations on this incredible honor. What was your first reaction when you learned that you had been named the Division I Michigan Tennis Coach of the Year?
Just humbled. I mean, the voting is it's taken by your peers as a coach. So, we all battle against each other, and obviously we want the best for our teams. But a lot of us are really good friends, and like I said, we're good peers, and we like to take ideas from one another. So to have the other instructors and people on the board vote on it and then to win it, it's nice to receive from your fellow peers and the people that you are battling against week in and week out for years.
Of course, everything you just said sounds like the perfect foundation for exceptional teamwork. And it's that teamwork that has helped get you this far. And when it comes to coaching your students and the players, what core values or coaching principles do you believe really contributed the most to this recognition?
Big part of our program is that we want to win. We want to be very competitive. But at the end of the day, our job is to be good sports, to have good sportsmanship, to go out there and hopefully when people come to play West Bloomfield, no one ever feels like we're taunting or we're not being friendly to people overall. Hopefully they think that our program is well run and we have a good core belief to be good human beings out there on the court, and that reflects hopefully starting from me, and hopefully all the other coaches think that same way. I always try to make sure my kids are, that they're representing themselves, the school, and me. So I want them to be at their best behavior.
That's right, and being that support system for every single one of these players is so vital for making a team succeed. How do you approach developing players, not just as athletes, but also as individuals?
Well, that's a big part of it. I mean, you hope to be, as a coach, a role model on top of being a coach. So you get to see these kids, hopefully for 3-4 years, and see how they grow, and you try to instill them values outside of the court as well as obviously on the court. We want competitiveness and sportsmanship, but to see them be good human beings and to learn how to be good teammates, and hopefully that'll make them, it'll go into longer in their lives so that they go back and go, I kind of learned that from tennis and being a good teammate. That's kind of where you hope as a coach that you're doing your best job. And like I said, we love winning, but we want to have good human beings come out of our programs as well.
You're absolutely right. Lots to learn from the sport and from you as a coach, Chris. And this award reflects both team success as well as leadership. What do you think your players would say makes your coaching style effective?
We have kind of a theme of just being competitive on a consistent basis, whether we're playing a team that is maybe a little bit weaker than us. We make sure that we go out there and we beat the team well, but we don't rub it in their faces. And if we're playing something that's really tough, like we try to do the best we can to scrape every single point out there, and we do the best we can with what you got and what you can give me. And a lot of times as a coach, you think that they're kind of battling for you, just like football or any other sport. You feel like your philosophy and core values are being instilled in them so that they can represent that from you. So, I think hopefully that's what we were getting out of it. I hope so.
Hey, that sportsmanship goes a long way to finding your success, Chris. For those just joining us on the Splash Live, I'm talking with West Bloomfield High School tennis coach Chris Ludwig, who was named the Division I Michigan Tennis Coach of the Year. An amazing honor. And with Chris, with getting to this point in your career and achieving this success, who would you say have been some of your biggest influences or maybe your mentors throughout your coaching career?
There's a ton. I'm fortunate to be a tennis instructor at a very reputable place at Franklin Athletic Club, and our staff is fantastic. So I learned things from everybody. I mean, if you look at, like, I'm going to name drop a little bit, but like Clay Tinham, and learn how to use numbers and courts. Bruce Swicky, how to use the courts effectively. Randy Payne, energy. Jason Norville, how to teach. Grant Nasher, charisma on the court. And so you take all those things from other people and other coaches, and you kind of make it into, take a little bit of one or two things from them, and you kind of make it your own. And but I'm very fortunate to have been around a lot of good instructors over the years. I've been doing this a long time, and you take a little bit and you see what works, and you try to make it your own. But yeah, a lot of really good instructors that I could name. The coaches that I'm playing against too. I mean, I love how they teach. So it's a fun thing to watch how other programs are built as well.
You're right. Lots to learn everywhere you go. Now, Chris, we've heard what this award means to you. What would you say what does it mean for your program as a whole?
Well, we had some really good success this year. We've had good success overall with the program for the last, I'm in my 8th year. So for 8 years, we've overall done a really nice job. And we're always one of the stronger top 20 programs in the state. So to have that recognized as a team part, they have to, I 100% give credit to the kids because, without us having a 16-4-1 record, probably the coaches will say, he did a good job, but obviously, like, they had a great year. It's the most wins I've had in a season as a coach. So they recognize that while we're not a top 10 program, we had very, very good success with a tournament win and a bunch of second places and a lot of wins. So it's definitely, the kids have a huge part in it, and I'd like to take all the credit, but no, for sure they have a huge part of that.
You're right, and they all got there with the incredible work of their coach, Chris. A couple more questions before we wrap things up. How do you hope this recognition impacts future athletes that might be considering joining your team?
Yeah, you hope that the people that are even considering it will recognize, not necessarily my accomplishments. That's nice to have the coach of the year, but I do this for a living. So not to say there aren't a lot of other good coaches out there teaching at other programs, but I do this for a living. So not that you're lucky, but you get someone that does this on a consistent basis, and hopefully they say, hey, I would like to try this, and I got someone that really does this all the time, and I can develop and have a really good 3-4 years of playing tennis and having fun.
That's what it's all about. Chris, last question. If you could share one message with your athletes, your colleagues, or your supporters after receiving this honor, what would it be?
That hard work pays off. I mean, I always go out of my way to, this is important to me. I love doing this job. It's a lot of fun. I get to go out there and mentor kids, and I put a lot of effort. I do. I sometimes coaches, a lot of times coaching gets into family time, and you kind of have to forfeit some of those times with family to do this. But at the end of the day, you love doing it. And if you're willing to put that hard work, it does get recognized. I think it's really important to understand that people do see what you're putting out there. And when your energy is good and when your work ethic is high, that people will recognize it.
It's amazing to see hard work pay off and be recognized in this way. The Division I Michigan Tennis Coach of the Year. An incredible honor. Chris, thank you so much for joining us today here on the Splash Live.
Thank you for having me.
Big congratulations once again to Chris on this honor, and I can't wait to see him train the next exciting team of future tennis stars with West Bloomfield High School. Holiday Happiness 2025. It's an annual community service initiative organized by the Optimist Club of West Bloomfield, dedicated to bringing joy and support to local children and families during the holiday season. The event highlights the Optimist Club's mission of empowering the youth, fostering service, and promoting positivity in the greater West Bloomfield community. Optimist Club President Jenny Suida joined us on The Splash recently to tell us about this year's festivities and how local residents can help. Jenny, thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, great to be here.
Of course. I mean, I always love this time of year. Holidays are coming around. A lot of great work being done for the community in that time. Now, for those unfamiliar, can you give us a bit of an overview of what Holiday Happiness is and how long it's been a part of the West Bloomfield community?
Sure. So celebrating this time of year has been a part of the West Bloomfield Optimist Club events for, it started probably more than 25 years ago. We've been doing Holiday Happiness, this gifting event, since the global pandemic started in around 2019. So we had to pivot. But prior to that, for over 20 years, it was a holiday party for the kids in need and their families, held at Orchard Lake St. Mary's. And there were lots and lots of people involved. But since that time in 2019, we've done the shift because the Optimists were determined to keep the gift giving going, even if we couldn't do large gatherings.
That's right. You keep that spirit of the holidays alive no matter what is going on in the community. And there's a lot of great things that this event does for Greater West Bloomfield. But what needs in the community does this event specifically aim to address during the holiday season, would you say?
So I would say the biggest thing is really just bringing joy and giving kids that special meal and that special time together with their families, giving them a little bit of extra breathing room and providing some nice things that they might need to have that big meal in the evening, that big hearty breakfast, a warm winter coat, and just some new little toy or gift that they wouldn't otherwise have.
You're right. Even those tiny gestures and even those little things can mean so much to so many different people. What do you typically see from the families around this time of year, especially those that maybe are experiencing some financial challenges during this holiday time?
Well, we rely heavily on the school district and our partners there to help identify those families that are in need. We don't have people coming directly to us. It's a group, it's a township-wide effort. But we know that these families, and especially some of us who haven't always been well off, know that from our past that we might have been in positions where what are things that we needed that time of year. And we see, but when we see the families come pick it up, we see a lot of gratitude, and that's the most rewarding part of this.
I'd imagine so, and I'm so glad you just talked about the volunteer efforts for an event like this, because volunteers play such a huge role in helping events like Holiday Happiness and so many other things in Greater West Bloomfield. What roles do you think volunteers truly play in the success of this event?
It's vital. The volunteers are absolutely important, and we couldn't do this event without them. In fact, all of the Optimists themselves are volunteers. None of these are paid positions. So without volunteers, the event wouldn't exist. We wouldn't have such a great, just a great atmosphere and sense of camaraderie.
It's been said that the volunteers truly are the lifeblood of the community, and it's events like these that truly showcase why that is the case. Out of everything, what do you hope the Optimist Club what do they hope participants, both volunteers and recipients, take away from this wonderful experience?
So we would hope that, the kids get to go home with a nice gift and the families get to feel like they brought something extra special to their family. For the volunteers, it's a chance for us to really see that as fortunate and as we are to live in a place like West Bloomfield, and as beautiful as this township is, there still are people in need and right in our neighborhood. And so it gives us a chance to recognize that and help when we have the opportunity to do so. And beyond that, my big hope is that when I and others have been in need ourselves, when we do have the chance in the future. So if these kids in the future get a chance like this, or I'm sure they will get a chance to help other people, they'll look back on this time and remember the help that they received and then want to give and pay it forward with a cheerful heart.
That's right. Paying it forward is so important. For those just joining us right now on the Splash Live, I'm talking with the president of the West Bloomfield Optimist Club, Jenny Suida, about this year's Holiday Happiness community event that's going to be taking place throughout Greater West Bloomfield. Now, so many wonderful things people can take away from an event like this. How would you say this event connects to the broader mission of what the Optimist Club truly does?
Yeah, so the optimists, our catchphrase is bringing out the best in our youth, our communities, and ourselves. And we're here to just bring out that optimism. What's the best that could happen? Bring out the positive vision and hope for a better future. So that's really how we hope to connect with both the community as the people who are helping serve and those who are receiving something special, that hope for the future.
That's absolutely right. Now, some important dates for everybody to remember. The holiday wrapping day is going to be taking place on December 13th, and the distribution day is going to be taking place on the 21st. A very, very crucial and important part of the holiday happiness celebration. How have you seen that part of the program evolve over the last few years?
Oh, yeah. So from going to the big party to the distribution event that it is now, it's been a huge learning curve for us to go from that kind of party mode to how can we party but still get things done efficiently, because the West Bloomfield Fire Department does graciously allow us to use their space, and they lend a hand. Every single one of their crew helps out in such a big way. Sometimes their family and friends join us. So that's how this has evolved, just kind of learning how to have better process, but also continue that fun and that joy and that helping aspect throughout all of this.
That's absolutely right, and I'm so happy you just mentioned the West Bloomfield Fire Department. They also play a very, very big role in helping this event come to life every single year. What can you say about your partnership with the West Bloomfield Fire Department and how that truly elevates what's able to be accomplished with holiday happiness?
Well, first of all, they're just very competent, trustworthy, and reliable people. And so that's wonderful to be partnering with people who hold those values. But it's just so nice partnering with the people who serve our community on a day-to-day basis, and knowing that they're supporting us and that we can help them out. But it's just really it's really great to feel like we have such trustworthy people in our community with high levels of character who are standing with us.
You're certainly right. It helps that to have their support and for all of these incredible events to be possible. I got a couple more questions for you, Jenny. How can local residents, businesses, or organizations, if they're watching this and they want to get involved, how can they get more involved and support holiday happiness?
Sure. So first and foremost, if you feel you have nothing to give, you always have your prayers. So that's important, and that really does help. But we would also ask that people consider making a donation to the fundraiser, because we are purchasing things like food and brand new jackets and gifts for the kids that can't just be donated from one's closet. So we want to give something special. But also, we do have those two opportunities to volunteer if you or your children would like to help wrap gifts, or if you would like to be involved in the distribution day event or helping pick up some of these food pallets from the grocery stores that are helping us out to drop off at the fire department. And then lastly, well, two more things. If you have a vehicle and you could help us kind of catch the last people at the end, you think about the people receiving these gifts aren't always they're pretty stretched thin sometimes already. So if they're not able to pick up their gift at the event, we do like to make sure that we have a team going out and dropping things off for people with extenuating circumstances. And then finally, we do have flyers. And so if your business or your place of work or worship can just share that flyer so that people know what we're doing in the community, not just for kids, but for kids who go to school and live here right within West Bloomfield Township.
All amazing ways to get involved, and we want to see as many people help out with holiday happiness as possible. Spread holiday magic all throughout Greater West Bloomfield. Jenny, last question before we let you go. Looking forward, what is your vision for how holiday happiness can continue to expand or reach even more families in the Greater West Bloomfield area?
Yeah, so we're continually receiving more requests for kids that we can help, and we can only do so much with the resources that we have. We took a pretty big hit after the global health epidemic, but we would just say, join the club. Come join us for a meeting, see if you would like to be a friend or a member of the club. But yeah, we really want to see more optimism, more hope in the community, more kids involved in seeing what they can build for the future, and get back to having a nice big gathering. Because while the gifting aspect was a great shift and it showed our perseverance, we are determined to get back to celebrating with others in a bigger way.
Optimism, hope, and community spirit. That's what we want to be seeing all throughout Greater West Bloomfield. Jenny, thank you so much for joining us today here on The Splash Live.
Thank you, Jake.
There's holiday happiness everywhere you look, and it's all possible thanks to the West Bloomfield Optimist Club. Big thank you to Jenny Sweeta for joining us on The Splash Live. Health awareness is something people should stay on top of all throughout the year. And right now, in the month of November, a larger focus is being placed on epilepsy awareness. Epilepsy is the fourth most common neurological condition and affects more than 65 million people worldwide. Vascular neurologist Dr. Stephen Schechter joined me on The Splash recently for an important discussion on the topic and what residents need to be aware of. Dr. Schechter, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. Hi, Jake. Welcome.
Glad to have you back with us, and for a very, very important topic. As I said, November is National Epilepsy Awareness Month. Can you explain why this awareness is so important for the public and medical community alike?
Yes, definitely, because epilepsy is a neurological condition that can be treated and controlled. Seizures are due to a sudden electrical discharge that occurs within the brain, and this can cause various clinical symptoms like loss of consciousness, loss of awareness, can lead to injury, broken bones, chipped teeth. So recognizing seizures is the first start to finding their cause and working on a treatment plan to prevent them.
That's absolutely right. Now, for those unfamiliar, how would you say, what causes epilepsy to develop in certain individuals?
So there can be many causes. Sometimes the causes are not known, but risk factors for seizures could include certain things like head injuries, traumatic brain injury, or history of previous head trauma. Sometimes it can occur after a stroke or after an infection in the brain, or it might occur due to a chemical imbalance that creates abnormal firing leading to the clinical event known as a seizure.
Wow, lots of ways that this can happen. And what are some of the most common symptoms or warning signs that someone might be experiencing seizures or could possibly have epilepsy?
So sometimes there is no warning and a seizure can just come very suddenly, but there may be what's known as an aura, like a feeling or a sensation. It could be a rising up feeling out of the stomach or a change in smell that occurs first. And then as the electrical discharges spread, the seizure can evolve and start to involve motor function. If both hemispheres become affected, there can be a loss of consciousness or a loss of awareness.
Sounds like a very scary situation that we don't want anybody to have to go through. But let's say you're in a situation where you witness somebody having a seizure for the first time. What should somebody do to help this person become comfortable?
So the first thing would be to stay with the patient and help to reduce the risk of further injury. You could, lay the patient down on their side, keep their mouth and airway clear. And if it's a new onset seizure or if it's a prolonged seizure, they really need to go into the emergency room. So you would want to call EMS to get the patient transported so they can begin an evaluation and start medication to control the seizure.
Of course, try to get things under control as quickly as you possibly can. Now, I would imagine in recent years that the treatment and management of epilepsy has evolved over that time. What have you seen, especially with advancements in medication or surgical options with epilepsy?
Yes, definitely. So we have many more medications now that are very effective. The newer medicines not only work better, but they have fewer side effects and they're easier to take and easier to tolerate. So there's been a lot of advance in terms of controlling the seizures with medication. There are also some other options for the 30% or so of seizures that aren't controlled with drugs. Devices that stimulate the vagus nerve can be looked at. And also there can be some surgical procedures done in more severe refractory cases where the actual scar tissue that is the source of the epilepsy can be removed.
Okay, that's amazing that we've had these developments in these recent years. Now, you said sometimes when it comes to these seizures, they can happen just completely out of nowhere. But I am curious, are there maybe some lifestyle changes or maybe some triggers people with epilepsy should be aware of to help manage their condition in the future?
Yes, definitely. So we call that seizure precautions. And so, for example, sleep deprivation is a known trigger of causing seizures or making them more likely. It can lower the seizure threshold. So getting adequate sleep, making sure you're eating properly, making sure you're not having other uncontrolled medical conditions like high blood pressure that's out of control or diabetes with sugar that's too high. So maintaining, optimal control of existing conditions, avoiding alcohol, avoiding sleep deprivation, and just good common sense, healthy living will help to reduce the risk of seizures.
Yeah, good common sense comes in. That's something everybody should remember and to combat a lot of different things. For those just joining us right now on the Splash Live, I'm talking with vascular neurologist Dr. Stephen Schechter, talking about National Epilepsy Awareness Month, which this is the month of November, which is Epilepsy Awareness Month, and things to watch out for, symptoms, signs, and what to do when you see somebody or if you know somebody who is struggling with epilepsy. Now, there's a lot of information about epilepsy, a lot of great information, a lot of great resources, but I imagine there's also maybe some misconceptions or some stigmas surrounding the disease. What do you see surrounding epilepsy today in terms of misconceptions?
Sure, there are some, older misconceptions out there that we know are not true. Epilepsy is not contagious. Not all seizures are associated with convulsions necessarily. They can be staring spells or more subtle automatisms like twitching or staring, but not necessarily a full-blown convulsion. Another stigma is that you can't drive with epilepsy. That's not true. You only can't drive for 6 months after a seizure, but if you're controlled beyond that, and you're on seizure medication or not, you can still drive. So that's something to discuss with your treating neurologist about the risks. And the last stigma that sometimes we still hear is that people with epilepsy are challenged intellectually or mentally, and that's not necessarily true either. So many patients, most of our patients, lead normal lives with optimal seizure control on medication with very effective and well-tolerated treatment options.
It seems like a lot of people think that epilepsy might be some sort of a death sentence and that it's going to take over the rest of your life. And it sounds like that's not the case. And as you said, you could still live a very fulfilling life even while dealing with epilepsy.
Absolutely. That is correct.
And with something like this, how important would you say is early diagnosis? And what kind of testing or evaluation should someone seek if they suspect seizure activity?
Right. So early diagnosis is important because if you have epilepsy, you want to be treated for that, for all of those reasons mentioned, to reduce the risk of uncontrolled seizures, injury, and sometimes uncontrolled seizures can actually cause some damage to certain parts of the brain. So getting it diagnosed and treated is really the goal. The treatment regimen depends on the type of seizure, and the workup to diagnose them would include imaging, advanced imaging with an MRI scan, and doing brainwave testing known as an EEG or electroencephalogram, which is recording and measuring the brainwaves, looking for an abnormal electrical rhythm. Electrical irritability is really the feature that we see on the EEG that is associated with seizures.
You're absolutely right. And it sounds like technology is really playing a huge role today in improving outcomes for people that are living with epilepsy, wouldn't you say?
It is, yes. Advanced imaging studies are now available. There's some devices now that can detect changes in heart rate very early, which is associated with the beginnings of a seizure, and then it can activate or fire a current to prevent the seizure waves from spreading. So there's a lot of technology, a lot of epilepsy monitoring devices and advanced imaging that can really help us monitor and maintain optimal control.
A lot of valuable resources available for those who need them. Where can people go to gain maybe a little more information or to learn a bit more about epilepsy if they think they might be suffering from it or if they know somebody who might be having some of those symptoms?
Sure, they can certainly look online or check out the Epilepsy Society webpage. But your best resource is going to be with your neurologist. So if there is clinical suspicion for seizures, one should see a treating neurologist to counsel them and begin a diagnostic evaluation and then start a treatment plan.
Important to check with neurologists just like yourself, Dr. Schechter. We really appreciate you joining us today here on the Splash Live. I have one more question before we let you go. What message would you like to share during National Epilepsy Awareness Month to encourage understanding, compassion, and support for those affected?
I would say there is hope. There is definitely many good treatment options. Like any medical condition, this can be adequately treated. The vast majority of patients can be controlled or become seizure-free with medication. And for those less common, more refractory patients, there are many options still available to treat those patients as well. So it's a treatable condition, and those patients that can receive optimal control, they do very well and continue to lead normal lives.
Great words to remember. Dr. Schechter, thank you so much for joining us today here on the Splash Live.
Absolutely. Thank you. My pleasure.
A very important discussion for Epilepsy Awareness Month. We appreciate Dr. Schechter for taking the time to talk with us here on the Splash Live. An accomplished educator's legacy was celebrated recently with the Walled Lake School District. Former Pleasant Lake Elementary para-educator Doug Goodwin passed away back in September, but was honored posthumously with a Golden Apple Award at the November 6th Board of Education meeting. Goodwin was nominated by Pleasant Lake teachers River Eubanks and Sarah Presbilo for his exceptional dedication to students and his love of helping them learn new skills. One of the nominators, Sarah Presbilo, joins us now on the Splash Live to tell us more about Doug's legacy. Sarah, thank you so much for joining us today.
Good morning, and thank you so much for having me.
Of course, this is such a great story. Really happy to hear about what you did to honor Doug Goodwin with the Golden Apple Award. Let's jump right into it. Maybe for people watching this who might not be aware, what is the Golden Apple Award?
Yes, so anybody in the district can nominate somebody that works in the district for a Golden Apple Award, and this is just an overall rounded award that gives people the opportunity to be celebrated for something that a lot of everyday people might not see. And so, of course, myself and kindergarten teacher River Eubanks nominated Mr. Doug Goodwin for this Golden Apple Award because every day he went above and beyond for both our special education students and the general education students here at Pleasant Lake Elementary.
Sounds like a great guy. Really happy that you're able to honor him in this way. Could you tell us a little bit more about Doug and his impact on the community?
Absolutely. So I got a chance to meet Mr. Doug 6 years ago. We were both beginning the Pleasant Lake Elementary autism classrooms together, and we started up these 3 classrooms together, and he taught me so much about working with kiddos on the autism spectrum. He helped me with sensory tools and academic tools, behavior tools to help get those kiddos regulated and focused.
Okay, it looks like we have a slight...
Lake Elementary.
No, we're good. Sorry about that, Sarah. It looks like there was a slight audio hiccup. If you could just repeat the last little bit right there.
Oh, sorry. I was just talking about how Mr. Doug was a huge impact in our school community, always showed up with a smile and made a big impact directly with the kiddos in the autism spectrum classrooms.
That's so great to hear. And as somebody with autism myself, I love hearing about the work that's being done to educate other teachers and to help make these kids comfortable. What did it mean to the district to honor Doug Goodwin with the Golden Apple Award posthumously?
Mr. Doug would have been over the moon to get this award. It really would have meant everything to him. Everybody in our school kind of looked at Mr. Doug as the grandpa figure because he'd be the guy that would come in with all the treats and the candy for the kids. He'd be the teacher that want to, hang out and play. And he was always relationship building first. So that was a big part of why Mr. Doug graciously got this Golden Apple Award, because he always focused on relationships work with those kids, whether it was finding out their favorite interests or bringing in their special treats. Mr. Doug always got to the kiddos level and met them where they're at. And so the district was, I think, very happy to honor Mr. Doug with the Golden Apple Award. And we were so lucky to get Cheryl Goodwin, Mr. Doug's wife, to be able to accept that award as well. She is currently a school social worker in the Walled Lake District. So we are very lucky to still have Mr. Doug's wife, Cheryl, to be a big part of our classroom and our relationship with her.
That's great that she was able to enjoy this honor as well. And everything you just said about Doug, that is what makes an amazing teacher. Building those ever important bonds with those students, having those unique connections with every single student, that's what makes a great teacher. And how did Doug help students maybe build independence and confidence in achieving some of their goals?
Absolutely. Mr. Doug was huge on helping students build their confidence. He'd always be right there next to them, helping if they needed support, whether it was friends that needed help with cutting or gluing, or even talking using their AAC device. Mr. Doug was always by the side, willing to help out and willing to jump in when needed. He always was bringing the students, different reinforcements, whether it was new puzzle games or new toys that he would get on the weekends to just, again, bridge that relationship piece between his students and himself. So we were really lucky to get to have Mr. Doug in our classroom for the last 6 years. Mr. Doug was in my classroom for 2 full years as a para, and then after he retired, he came back consistently as a retired sub para in my room. Even showing up on the days that I didn't necessarily need him in my room, he would show up just because he loved those kids so much. He came for the important days. He came for the meet and greets, for the parent-teacher conferences, for the fun field trips. He was always an extra hand and a familiar face and a consistent friend for our kiddos.
It sounds like Doug truly had such an impact on the community. He will absolutely be missed. And in what ways do you feel that Doug's legacy is going to continue to influence the staff and the students today?
I know for myself, in my own classroom with my paras and I, we always are referring back to Mr. Doug every day. Just little things here and there remind us of him. He was so good with the kiddos, and I hope that all of the teachers can remember the smiling face and the warm heart that he brought to our building every day. He really was a treasure.
Sounds like he was. For those just joining us on the Splash Live, I'm talking with Sarah Presbilo, one of the nominators of Doug Goodwin for the Golden Apple Award with Walled Lake School District, honoring this incredible educator who brought so much to the community. Now, with awards like this, how does the district support and recognize the contributions of para-educators like Doug?
Yes, so we are lucky enough to have a new principal this year, Miss Andrea Hassey, who goes above and beyond to support and applause all of the para-educators in our building. And so not only do we recognize him by giving him a memory, but we will also be hopefully planting a tree in his honor in the springtime to remember him and for our school to remember him, because he was such a big part of this Pleasant Lake family.
That's great that you guys are continuing to honor Doug and everything he's brought to the school. And what message do you hope that this Golden Apple Award sends throughout the Pleasant Lake community and the broader school district?
I just hope that anybody that's thinking about awarding somebody or telling them that they're doing a great job, just do it, because Mr. Doug would have loved to hear this, that he got this award. This would have really, I know, meant a lot to him. And so I encourage anyone, coworkers, friends, anyone who's working with others, to just share the love and share the kindness and appreciate who is around you, because you never know what life is going to take. And we just miss Mr. Doug very much and wish he was still here, because it would have been a great year to end the note on with him.
You are certainly right. And what do you think Doug would say if he were still around and he got to see all of this celebration for him and all of these honors come his way?
Oh, he would have been overjoyed. Tears would have been in his eyes. Hugs would have been going around. Just being recognized for the kind soul that he was would have been so much for him. I know that these kiddos, especially the kiddos on the autism spectrum, adored Mr. Doug, and he adored them right back. So again, we'll miss Mr. Doug. We miss him every day, and we're going to continue to remind students about him and carry on his legacy at Pleasant Lake Elementary.
Well, Sarah, it's been amazing to hear about Doug's legacy and how it's going to continue on and carry on in the future. I got one more question before we wrap things up. How can schools continue honoring Doug's values of dedication, growth, and a positive mindset moving forward?
I think that being a Mr. Doug and having a Mr. Doug mindset is where we all need to grow and get into, because he truly showed up every day, even on the hard days, even on the big behavior days, with a smile on his face, coffee in his hand, Timbits in his hand, ready to rock and roll the day. So I just think that schools and districts need to be having a Mr. Doug mindset. Positivity, love, kindness, and fun were his top priorities. And that is the way we're going to continue to roll and rock here at Pleasant Lake.
We could all use a Mr. Doug mindset. That's what everybody needs to kickstart their day and to tackle life. Sarah, thank you so much for joining us today here on the Splash Live.
Thank you for having me. Take care.
Of course, you as well. Lots to celebrate throughout the community, and it's great to hear of all of this work to honor Doug Goodwin and everything that he has brought to the Pleasant Lake School District, the Walled Lake School District. But that's going to do it for us today here on the Splash Live. Big thank you to all of our guests and for everybody on the Splash Live team for helping to make this show possible. I've been your host, Jake Schaff. Live, local, social. It's the Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.